Dopest sports talk show on the radio. You heard what I said.
It's time for the crushing interview.
We're going into this crushing interview brought to you by Orasi Software. The Orasi team is committed to provide full lifecycle support for developing, testing, and delivering market-driven products. Orasi's motto is when a customer engages one of us, they engage all of us. Go to orasi.com. That's ORASI.com for more information. Maceo, please introduce our guest, sir.
This young lady coming to the microphone, I don't know, can't remember how long I've known her, but I've known her for a very long time. And she has a story to tell. Shaquita, Estes, to the microphone. What's good, family?
What's good? What's good?
What's happening?
Oh, so much has changed in the last month of life for us. So I appreciate you guys allowing me to come out tonight and share my story with you all.
Well, go ahead and jump in it. What changed? Talk to us about the changes and what's going on right now.
Well, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? So we all know that. And I guess about, a month ago on September 12th, 2018, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I suffer from what's called infiltrating ductal carcinoma, which means it's in my lymph nodes. Mm-hmm. And, you could just imagine getting that type of diagnosis as at 43 years of age, a woman who is a mother of 2 beautiful children, been married almost 19 years, works out 3 days a week, eats pretty good, to now be plagued with such what I initially thought was a death sentence, But today, looking out with prayer and family and my sister circle around, just embracing life for what it is, and would love to share with other women about breast cancer and just early detection.
How did you find out about it?
So for me, my story is a little bit different. Not the typical breast cancer pain and problems. Mine started off a little bit different, and we're all adults here, right? Mm-hmm. So initially just having some nipple pain for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then, got scared, really, to be quite honest, and set up my mammogram. I had not had a mammogram in about 3 years, and went to the doctor and, got the diagnosis. And then in a week's time, my world was turned upside down from getting one, concern from my OBGYN to having a mammogram, and then going for a second mammogram to now be told they found a second mass.
Let me just start with this, because we talk about early detection.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of harp on that again, why it's so important to continue to go to the doctor and get checked for these things.
Yeah, well, I am a pediatric nurse practitioner too, so being in healthcare, my health is of utmost importance, but as a mom, a wife, sometimes we do neglect those things because we're nurturers and we're caring for other people.
Right.
I promise you, even though I didn't want the diagnosis, I'm glad I went when I did, because what if I had waited another month? Mm-hmm. What if I had ignored the pain and just thought, oh, it's going to be okay? There's so many women, especially African-American women out here, that are being diagnosed 3 times more with the type of breast cancer that I have. What I have is also called triple negative breast cancer, and that's a more aggressive type of breast cancer. Mm-hmm. So this is not one that you can sit on lightly and just play around with. You have to move upon it. So if nothing else is heard from me tonight, it is to go and get checked, regardless if you are well endowed, if you are small, whatever the case is. Make it your business to have your yearly mammogram.
What made you move away from, because it struck my family a couple of years ago, and what made you get away from the fact of thinking it was a death sentence?
Really and truly, that night, Chris and I told you I was a nurse practitioner. I was coming out of my patient's room, and I just literally lost it. Like, I felt like my life had been taken from me. And at that moment, all I could do was call him, and cry and work myself through. And that night, I surrounded myself with my sister circle. So I have to give a shout out to my best friends, Jennifer, Dion, Nikki, Carrie, just a number of people, Japonica, just so many of our family friends have been supporting my mom, our parent, his mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law. But really knowing that I'm not the only one that's going through this made me think, God has called me for an assignment to do, and this is my assignment to share with other women, and that he's not going to leave me here. He's going to bring me out on the other side as a warrior.
Well, we want to come back. I want to make sure that we make you, as we talk in your story, we're telling people what they need to do and what you've learned through this process so far.
Okay.
Because I think people need to hear that it's not a death sentence.
Right.
You got to work through it, and that's the thing we want to get out of this.
Right.
Okay? So when we come back, we'll be talking about this. Stay with us. We're back, man. And right now, that's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we hashtag Crush Cancer as always. We're here with Mrs. Estes, the real Estes. I'm sorry. Did I say that loud? She's telling her story right now, and I think it's important. Breast cancer affects a lot of people. Affected a lot of people in my family, affected people, friends, and it's early for you, Shaquita, but you're still fighting through it. And just talk about so far what you've learned through this process so far.
Man, you just got to be a trooper at this thing. You can't be scared. I've had more tests in the last 2 weeks of my life that I could ever imagine, And again, with that sister circle being around, just really having a good support team, because there are going to be some people who run away from me, and I know that because of appearance, and they can't handle it, and, they don't know what to expect or what to say, but I know that my real sister circle will be there for me. So knowing that my kids are here, that I'm pushing for my family, it's ironic because last night BET was they had a movie on, and the young lady actually was diagnosed with BRCA, which is the gene of breast cancer. So her mother actually carried the gene, and I'm actually going through that testing now because my mom and some of my family members have had some abnormal mammograms too. So now we wonder if it's gene related, since mine is not estrogen or progesterone based. So just from that movie alone, though, I mean, she was a warrior, and her mom came back to her through her spirit saying, I gave you the fear, the not having that fear of not being a warrior, and that you're going to fight.
Right.
Even though I didn't make it, you can make it, So I just feel like, really, staying positive, surrounding myself with positive people, and, knowing that they've got my back and my strength when days when I know I won't have it.
And it's funny you were saying that, because one of the things my uncle, as he was going through his cancer treatment, he always talked about positivity.
Right.
And that's why I was telling you in the break, just always keeping that same smile, that same demeanor, because, the days are going to be tough.
Right.
Just, again, talk about that circle again, because that is so important.
Yeah, I think initially when we got the diagnosis, it was more like, okay, we're going to keep it quiet. We're only going to tell our family. And one night, my friends were calling. They knew I was having tests and stuff, and it was like, I need to tell them, because this is going to eat me up. Even with telling our children, I think that was a really bold move for Chris and I to be able to share with our kids. Our son is 15. My daughter is 7, two different ends of the spectrum, but both of them, very emotional, something very emotional that you have to really sit down and tell your kids that your mom is going through some things, and it's going to be some days that I may not be able to cook, or days I may not be able to hang out with you or come to your games or things like that, and my daughter said one night, she said, well, Mom, what are people going to say about you? And I said, baby, don't worry about what people are going to say about me. Mama can handle that. Don't worry about that. Just know that we love each other, and that's all that matters.
I'm not trying to pump him up because he's in the corner, but how important is it to have a rock or your husband with you through this?
Oh, he's been phenomenal. One of his friends said today,
He probably can't cook, but
He getting better with it, maybe. He getting better. He getting better.
He probably cook all the pots.
Can he
grill
grill
at least?
it?
He'll boil water. We can't eat ramen noodles every night. But keep going.
I can't say enough about Chris being there, because a lot of times, spouses can get scared too, but he's definitely been there since day one, my A1, 19 years almost in November. So shout out to that. It was almost like a month or 2 months before our anniversary, that we got this diagnosis. So it's really just built us stronger as a unit and know that the Estes are here.
The Estes. I didn't know where that name came from, but
Boy can't boil water. It's terrible. Jeez, poor kids. But to that note, when you talk about you having to, now the medicine's gonna probably start coming and
Right.
the treatment. Just talk about your mindset as you go through those days where I have treatment on this particular day.
Yeah, so actually I'm one chemo treatment down, thank God. And many more to come, but last week was pretty rough, I was experiencing some pain from one of the medications that they give me, and, he's been there just to help me along the way, and they actually put in a portacath. I don't know if people can see this now, but you actually get all your medications and labs and things through your port. And that was an experience for yourself. I told my nurse that night, it's different being on the other side of the table.
Right, because you used to take
I'm
care of
used
people.
to
Right.
taking care of
Right.
people, but now I'm actually having to be the patient. So that's even been a struggle for me too. Now being the other person, But I know we have a long road ahead of us, but we're gonna get through it. From chemo to some type of surgery. To then radiation, but this time next year I want to come back and be able to say I'm cancer free.
we're going
Without
to
a
have you
doubt,
on.
man.
Hit that. I
Come
love
on,
when you
man.
get to ring the bell. One of
Yes.
the greatest sounds ever. I've heard it, and it's been one of the things.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that you've had to overcome to begin this process?
I think fear. That's probably the biggest thing is fear that I'm not going to die. Because people wonder, a lot of times. But medicine has changed so much now that the success rates are such higher rates now. So I think that's one thing, and fear of not being here to see my kids grow up. My daughter said, I want you to be here to see me get married and have kids, and I want to be there to do that.
Man.
So, I'm just, now we're gonna brighten up the room a little bit.
Yeah.
You got. Let me say, when you think about this, and do you ever say why?
Oh, I've asked God why all the time. Why me, Lord? Why me? Why did you choose me? Some people may not know, but about 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with something else called alkalasia, which is more related to GI issues. And I often wonder now, I had a sorority sister pray for me one night before I had my first treatment, and she basically said, you've been called for an assignment. And ever since that point, it's just like, this is my assignment. So as long as I look at it as my assignment to help others, then I know I'm doing God's work.
When we come back, we're gonna finish it up, but we're gonna talk positively. But it's funny you said you're on the other side, but sometimes that may be what people need to see. Somebody who's been in the profession,
Yeah.
going through it, so that now when you talk to people, they can see. You can know it from both sides.
Oh, absolutely.
When we come back, man, we're gonna finish with Mrs. Estes. Stay with us.
And like the song say, we never scared up in here. Hold on, Ty Prime, what the song I asked you to play?
He played.
Oh, he played it?
Yeah.
My bad, y'all. How you gonna call him out like that? That's what I get. That's why I'm on this side. I don't get paid to do that.
Prime, man.
Right, I should have known.
Yeah,
Sorry.
hey, man.
Let's keep going.
We're going there.
Let's keep
And
going.
we want to thank Mrs. Shaquita Estes for coming in.
Yes.
And sharing your story, because a lot of people don't. I think one of the main things you've said so far that I want women and just people in general who have cancer in general talk about it. You said that y'all didn't want to talk about it. You want
right.
people need to hear, man, because there are so many people. I
We
think,
gotta stop keeping it a secret.
like we say, 1 in 8
Yeah.
have breast cancer. Women are having breast
Yeah,
cancer.
which is 12%.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
we gotta start sharing hope stories, because people are going in and and I won't tell my, like I told y'all during the break who had it in my
Right.
family. She didn't want to share it. I was like, why? Because
Right.
people can hear your story.
Right.
It can build strength.
And
off of
and
it.
that may be what sparked somebody to say, you know what? Well, I felt that.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me go get checked out. Because again, the worst thing you can do is not know.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's too late.
Yeah.
Right. I think too, that's how my mom was initially about, let's just keep it quiet. And I told her, no, Mom, the more people who are praying for us, the better we'll be,
Right.
So why not share with the world? Because like you said, somebody may be having some of the same symptoms and just ignore the symptoms,
Right.
you know. And it's so important that we work through those symptoms because you're not alone. There's so many other women that's experiencing the same thing. So.
And I think people don't realize spiritual energy is stronger when it's 1,000 instead
Oh,
of 10.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's when
Absolutely.
you're giving it to them.
Vibes.
Right.
I'm always about vibes. Negative people.
No,
well, they
no
stay
time
away
for
from me.
exactly.
Yeah,
No time for
man,
negative
listen,
vibes
I
right
can
now.
feel it. I just be like, bye.
Right, right. No, I think you need to surround yourself with that because that's really how you're gonna make it through.
Right.
You know, there are days where I want to have a pity party, and I have had pity parties. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm sure there'll be more, but some days it's just like the hell with cancer. You know.
Well-
But trying to remain positive that hey, I'm gonna make it out on the other side of this.
And at the end of the day, I mean, you know, we are strong believers
Oh,
in crushing
absolutely.
cancer and breast cancer. Like I said, it's effective us. We're glad you got that shirt on. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, y'all? Crushing cancer. Estes ain't got his on. Don't be talking about you too big because I got one. You can't even use that excuse. I got one. So I don't want to hear that. We're going to get you one, bro. Hey, we're going to get you one. You got to wear it.
And it's crazy because it has affected both of us, and that's one of the things when we started. It was just like because we know,
Right.
and we have to continue to let people know. Listen, like you said, if you feel something wrong, go get it checked.
Right.
As I'm telling y'all that, I'm telling y'all about my ankle that I won't go get checked, but
Yeah.
that's for other reasons.
We just going to let that
Well,
go.
we
Yeah,
are
just gonna let it be
gonna-
raggedy. We're gonna just let it be raggedy.
It pops every morning.
We're gonna we are doing a walk too. I just wanted to share if people want to come out and support.
That's what I was say. Talk to us about some things that you got going on, and also, as your profession, what would you tell people to do to test, to find out, to look, to don't miss appointments and all that stuff?
Well, I think from missing appointments or making sure just anything abnormal, I think we as women have to be in tune, and men too, but we have to be in tune with our bodies. And I think that was one thing that really saved me or early detection is, hey, I noticed something strange about my body. I wasn't afraid. I waited about 2 weeks and then said, stop playing, let me go, you know. Stop playing, let's go. So, you know, I'm glad I did that. Just really getting mentally prepared for the journey because, you know, staying in my Bible, writing scriptures down, listening to positive music, you know, no negative vibes,
Yeah.
you know, because
stay
there are
away
going to
from
be
them.
people.
You got a new TI?
A new TI?
Yeah, sure.
No. No.
She don't listen to that kind of music.
Got a new TI rolling?
Wait a minute now. I know some rap music. Wait a minute now. But having that sister circle, you know, I want to thank my sister-in-law too. She's been great, you know, going to appointments with us, having
She's
a
so
scriber.
silly, so yeah, you gotta have somebody like that
Yeah,
on the team.
you gotta
Lord
have somebody who
mercy.
can break up the monotony sometimes,
sure,
you know.
it's these silly
And then we have the walk coming up. So my girlfriends have set up a walk in my honor. It's October 27th, the 27th, down at the SunTrust Park.
How far is it? About half a mile?
You're walking the battery from one end to the other.
Yeah. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not a marathon.
Yes,
It's a
it's
walk.
over.
But if anybody would love, I can definitely leave y'all the
Absolutely.
link.
Yeah. Give us the link and everything. I'm gonna walk that 27th. I got a game that day, Gladys.
Probably do.
What time to walk?
It's at 9 o'clock in the morning, Maceo.
Oh yeah, I think I can swing.
Yeah.
I'm coming through.
Okay, well, come
I'm
on
coming
through.
through.
We can
Might be
crush it together.
9:50.
No, me. I'm gonna be early because I'm out to stretch. I gotta stretch this bad ankle.
All right.
That thing gonna pop all
He
the way.
gonna pop all the way through. You know what?
Now he in great shape. He can get done.
I'm going
It
to get my ankle checked tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, wear your
No, I'm
brace
not.
and
No, I'm
come
not.
on.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. No, I'm
You know
not.
what he gonna do? He gonna spat his ankle.
Oh,
I'm gonna tape it up with a break. He gonna look like he trying to play a game.
Right.
Be like, man, come on, man.
I ain't got two braces on, boy. Y'all know my ankle raggedy and my shoulder. But Mel Johnson, don't you start that. Mel keeps sending me these silly texts, man. Stop, Mel Johnson, because your shoulder just as bad as mine.
Hey, we praying for you.
Thank you.
You got the crush in your back, so
Oh, I
we thank you so
appreciate
much.
I'm
for
walking.
coming on.
I just made it official.
Okay.
I'm walking.
Well, come on and join
I'm
my
gonna join on a Saturday at
team.
9 o'clock. Lord
All
have
right.
mercy. I can't watch my cartoon. though.
It's gonna be close. It's close to you,
I know, but it's still cartoon Saturday.
man. Ain't no
Anything
good
else?
cartoons on
Anybody
no
you want
more.
to shout out before you leave?
No, I'm good. I do want to shout out my boy Fat Gerard though, because he has definitely been in Chris' corner supporting him and
Oh,
all
Gerard.
our other Rat Pack college
Oh,
friends and things
Gerard,
like that. But
yeah.
just thank you for all of their continuous support and prayers. because we definitely need it.
There it is. Get checked, everybody. It is not a death sentence unless you don't do nothing about it.
And keep
Exactly.
negative people out your circle.
Exactly.
But I take this photo when we come back, man. It's time to do college football.
All right.